Welcome to the Press One for Nick podcast. My name is Nick Lemsdahl. My guest this week is Greg Uglione. He's a CX influencer to follow, according to the UK CX Awards in 2022. He's a podcast host with I recommend you take a listen for the CX Goalkeeper. He's an author and much more. Greg, welcome to the Press One for Nick podcast.
Thank you very much, Nick. It's really a great pleasure, a big achievement for me to have the opportunity to discuss with you and to share what I learned with your audience. I hope that today and you will appreciate this discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first question I ask every single guest, which you know already, is what's one thing people might not know about you, Greg?
Thank you, Nick. And this is the question I always get and I never explain publicly. CX goalkeeper, I was a real goalkeeper. I was playing in the junior club and I was, let's say, successful, but not so successful. And therefore I said, okay, now it's time to think about my future. And then my mother told me, you need to go for studies. And therefore soccer or football for our European friends is still my passion, but I'm not playing anymore because I'm also a bit too old now.
I think there comes a time in every single person who has played sports that breaking point of, I could go to that next level or I could stick in this a little bit longer, but does it make sense financially? Does it make sense for my health or the long term? So we tend to gravitate towards other passions, which is obviously CX for both of us, and it's always good to align and wear the one hat that you're wearing right now with both football or soccer and customer experience. So well done. Maybe before we get started, tell my listeners a little bit about your podcast.
Thank you very much. The CX Goalkeeper, I started roughly 2 years ago, and it was really a great experience throughout this journey. For me, it was really a journey, starting, creating a podcast, having the first guest, and then starting getting also positive feedback from the audience. And I started publishing every week consistently since 2 years, one fresh new episode about customer experience in the different fields, in the different competencies that we know about customer experience. And now, let's say, I allow myself to say, we are growing together as podcaster. We have also exchanges. We are exchanging also some strategies that are working better, some strategies that are not really working. And it's growing. It's all about customer experience, transformation and leadership. And I am super happy to share the discussion that I have with other people because we all together, we learn together and we grow all together. And I think in customer experience, we still have a lot to do in Europe and in the USA.
Yeah, the beauty of the industry is it's never finished. There's always going to be a better strategy or a better process, or the expectations are going to get more and more demanding. So tell me about this there's something going on. I don't know if there's a soccer tournament. I'm not really familiar. Maybe fill in my audience of what's going on with soccer today and what tournament's going on.
Not sure when you're going to publish that now. Today, it's we are still in the middle of the World Cup, Soccer World Cup in Qatar. They are playing, and I think it's important for us to take out the things that are good for us, that move our emotions. Seeing a complete nation being super happy for their team, for what the team is achieving, is what I'm trying to take out. Not what it's bad, that we need to discuss about what happened in Qatar. It's not good how they created the stadium, how many people lost their lives, how many families are unhappy. This is things that are important and we need to discuss that, to understand that. And this is something that we cannot accept. This is quite clear that it's something that we are not accepting. But in this case, and also with you, I would like to discuss about the important part about fans, about soccer, what's going on, and that soccer is really creating also positive emotions for in entire countries.
Yeah, and I agree with everything that you just said. For somebody who has the passion prior to soccer and now has the passion for customer experience, customer service, what's from your perspective, what's the link between those two?
I have two examples that I often share. The first one in soccer, the customer are the fans. And let's quickly think about the fans. Fans are emotionally involved. They buy merchandise. Even if they are older, they continue buying merchandise, and they are spreading positive word of mouth even after a negative situation. Let's think about in business. You had service disruption, but you find ways to tell to the others that this company, in this case, this team is still good. Oh, the referee was not good, the other team played not good, or something like that. Let's think about few businesses that we know that have real fans. And what I would like is that much more companies get fans as customer, the good fan, the positive fans, because I think this is really great. Acquiring new customer, keeping new customer, and keeping them emotionally engaged. I think this is extremely important. This is one part, and if you allow me, the second part for the more skeptical people that are saying, yeah, but soccer, it's sport, it's not. This is really also in the experience business. I had the opportunity to discuss that also with Joe Pine, and for him and also then for me, it's clear that sports, soccer, it's experience business. Let's think from a financial point of view. And in Joe Pine is sharing this idea of the money value of time. It means if you go to a soccer game, you pay roughly $90, $100 for 90 minutes. Game, seeing 11 men playing against other 11 men. It means we are paying roughly $1, $1.20 to be part of this game. If we compare that to other experience businesses like theater, cinema, or escape rooms, there we are moving ourselves about the money value of time of 10, 15, 20 cents for each minute. And in this case, it's much more. And I think this is clearly the explanation of this incredible graph of Joe Pine, the progression of the economic value. Soccer is offering experiences, and therefore they are also earning quite a lot of money around that.
Yeah, good point. I think you're right now doing the showing the value of other CX people in the space, and specifically around the books. And one of the people that you mentioned was John DeJulius. He actually, if you go look at his, he just had a newsletter come out, and he spent time with the people of Qatar to deliver on the experience and to differentiate on the experience. And so you might want to go and take a peek at that, because I think it pertains to the fans' experience as well. You know, it's always interesting. Not only are fans communicating during the game or prior to the game, oh, who's going to be in the match, who's injured, who's not injured, what's the competition look like against this other team, what did they have, what's their strategy, and how do they approach it. And then they're going and talking about it after the game and continuing that conversation. When it comes to consumers, just in general, in corporate, the consumers of any product or service, if they continue to talk about you and your organization in the right way at their dinner table, that's exactly what we want, because then the word of mouth is going to continue to go, and they're going to refer business or introduce you to other people. So I like that. I like that parallel. You know, outside of what I just mentioned, what is the additional role of the fans?
I think fans are really extremely important. They are part of the game. We face that, and I read a lot also about this topic. During COVID, fans were not allowed to be there, to be in the stadium, this big theater where the games was going on. And for the players were extremely difficult to get motivated, to really give the best from of them in order to achieve, in our language, the successful customer outcome, in order to win the match. Because if you don't have the customer with you, that you can interact with them, getting feedback from them, direct, unfiltered feedback, I think this is something extremely important. And if you want, we can elaborate a bit on feedback.
Yeah. So when it comes to feedback, I've seen that there's even apps out there that you can get feedback in real time from the fans, either before the game of the experience of that journey, maybe during the game, which I probably wouldn't recommend. Of, hey, how is the experience so far? What would you like? What would you like to improve? Or maybe even a pulse survey towards the end. Have you seen that be effective across the football space to create that better experience, or to get the feedback back from the fans?
Yes, indeed. I think because fans are giving feedback, and it's not about blaming people or not, but you think about if you are playing and you are in this big stadium, 80, 90,000 people that are screaming around, yes, go, let's do that, go on the right, go on the left, or something like that, on the other side, boo, boo, boo. This is the feedback that, in this case, employees or the teammates, the players on the field get directly. And then if they are not giving 100%, but only 90, and they get the negative feedback, they say, oh, I need to get them. Or sometimes it's really small piece missing. And often we are saying that the fans are the 12th player on the pitch, the one additional that really motivate and bring the team forward. And there are statistics quite clear that if a team is playing at home, the probability that they will win the game is bigger, because they have more fans on their side that they motivate themselves. And therefore, fans play really an extremely important role. Let's think about business. A business without fans, without customer, there is no reason to exist. If a soccer team doesn't have fans, there is no reason to exist.
Yeah, well, I like the home field advantage. There's definitely a lot to be said about that. If for some reason in the States, it's college football right now, there'll be football playoffs here at the end of December. I think the 31st is the final four of football. But if for some reason that they would play at their home field, let's say Georgia or Ohio State would play at their home field, they would have a home field advantage to that experience, and there'd be a lot of the other side that would be complaining about it. So I truly believe in that home field advantage, and that 12th player on the pitch, or even in hockey, there's the Columbus Blue Jackets have something called the fifth line. So there's 4 lines in hockey, but they call about the fifth line, which is the fans that are in the arena. You know, bringing it back all the way to customer service, you know, what can that industry, what can the customer service teams lead or learn from the soccer teams?
If you allow me, because perhaps not everybody is so passionate as I am about soccer, and therefore let's go back to a business issue, and then I try to explain what we can learn from soccer and apply in business. The business issues that often a lot of companies or a lot of customers are facing is the following. If I contact a company through the phone, I get a specific service because it's the contact center answering this phone. If I contact the company through social media, I write them, then it's not the contact center answering that. But sometimes, or often, it's the marketing department. And the marketing department answer to my inquiry, perhaps exactly the same that I would have asked via phone, in an other way, because marketing department has other targets. And if I write a letter, then it's the back office, are other people that have other targets and they are responding in a different way. And that's not possible, because as a customer, I am contacting one company and I expect the same experience, the same results. And this is not working. Now, translating that into soccer, let's think about the 3 departments that I mentioned, customer service, marketing, and back office. We can use also another department. It's only for example purpose. And we say the marketing department are the defender, and they get a specific target. They need to do the maximum possible number of tackles. The contact center are the midfield player, and they get the target of running the maximum number of kilometers or miles. And then the next team, the back office, get another target. Everybody is trying to achieve their targets. It means the contact centers, to achieve their targets, the best way is to run the 90 minutes around in a circle and they would achieve their target. But this is not the target that the team has, that the company has, to achieve this successful customer outcome. And therefore, it's extremely important. What we can learn from soccer is we need to give to the teams, plural, not only one, but to all the teams, the same target, at least the same final target. And the same final target is achieving this successful customer outcome, that our customers are happy, are coming back, are referring us, are buying more from us. This is what we want. And therefore, it's extremely important to give them one common target to all the different departments. And if you let me elaborate a bit on that, we have this team now on the pitch playing. And let's stay with the contact center, because you mentioned contact center, and I think this is also your playing field. Let's make the difference. In a contact center, often contact center representatives have a script and they need to follow a script. Let's think about the same person on the field. If they get the ball and now they need to react, to do something, there are two options. They take out the script from the pocket, read from the script what needs to be done, and the ball is not there anymore because the other team already took the ball and score one other goal. Or they can use improvisation and start playing within the rules that are defined by the referees, within the rules that are defined by the coach, that are about the tactics that the team wants to use. But this person is empowered to do the best when they get the ball. He doesn't need to go to the coach and ask for approval. May I give the ball to the left or to the right? Because you told me to do that, but it's not possible because the other team, the competitors, are extremely strong on the left side. I would like to go on the right side, because there you will never score a goal. And therefore, empowering the teams, because you have the best people on the field, you choose them. You have the best people on the field. Then you need to empower them and they will score quite a lot of goals.
Yeah, I enjoy that too, because with analogies around football and customer service, maybe at your level, there was a little bit more room to play the ball before somebody came up and approached you. So you had to do something with it. Go left, go right, go around them, go through them. When it comes to the professional, the elite, the World Cup, it's the game of inches. And the same is true in football and hockey. You can score a touchdown, you can score a goal based off of, or you can be offsides based off of the inch that you're making. And I think the same is true inside customer service with the contact center, where every moment matters. And if you're not actually focusing on the end result and you're focusing on hitting your specific individual metric, you might not satisfy that customer's experience to get them to return back to where they were. And so if somebody has one bad experience with you or the organization because somebody had a bad day, or somebody said, oh, that's not company policy, it's the moments that matter and it's the inches that matter. And I like that analogy. What are your thoughts to that?
I think what you are saying, it's make totally sense. And to elaborate on this topic, the question that we can ask ourselves, the best goals are scored based on a script or are scored off script? Because one player was creative and was thinking, oh, let's do this and let's do that. And perhaps two players playing together and understanding each other quickly and well. These are the best goals. These are the memories that we can create, that businesses can create if we empower our employees to score the best possible goals. All these stories that comes in the social media. Oh, I had a great experience with this company. I had an outstanding experience with that company. It was one person or two person or a small team being extremely creative and creating this experience specific for that case to create memories for the end customer. And therefore, it's extremely important. The contact center representatives are our players. We selected them. We need to empower them, because if we allow them to be creative, to always within the rules, because in soccer there are clear rules, so you cannot play with hands and all this stuff, and then the best goals are off script.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to interview Horst Schulze, and he implemented that every single employee has the opportunity to go off script every single day and spend up to $2,000 per customer or per day. And there was some amazing stories that ended up happening because of it, because they had that ability there, or they were empowered to make that decision. One couple lost their wedding ring during their honeymoon, and 2 or 3 people ended up getting metal detectors who were employees and going throughout the beach over the night with headlamps, finding the ring and placing it on the table at breakfast. And not only did they find it and they saved the weekend or saved the week that they were there, but they created lifelong customers because of it. And it's amazing that the same is true with fans. Like you could have one bad experience, and if they went above and beyond, or they just met expectations, you can have a fan for life. Or maybe the athlete came up and signed autographs and stayed just a little bit longer because somebody traveled across the world to see the match or to see the game in real life. So it's all depending on the moments that matter. When it comes to this World Cup, eventually there's going to be a winner. Eventually somebody's going to lose and somebody's going to win, and somebody's going to get the MVP of the World Cup. How do you align that with customer service? Because there's not really an end to the game, but is there a way to align? Is it possible to win that championship of customer service?
Yes, I think it is possible. I don't have all the ingredients, but again, I would like to link that with a business issue that we are often facing. Let's make one example or 2 examples in the business context, and then we try to learn from soccer what we could apply in business. The example that I often hear from friends, colleagues working in other companies, we had a product launch and our marketing department forgot to inform our contact center. The knowledge management was not updated. The customer called us, and our contact center employees were not able to explain what's the new product, what are the features, and how it's really working. Or, for example, let's make the example, the IT department sending out an email. We will over lunch quickly update the CRM because we forgot to do that during the weekend. And then think about these poor employees, these contact center employees having 5, 6, 7 screens open, and exactly the most important that you need doesn't work because IT is updating that. And I think this is really linked with not having a proper strategy. In customer experience, often a lot of CX professionals speaks about customer experience strategy. The strategy is the to-be experience that you want to deliver to your employees. This is the summary of something extremely important. But on this topic, there are a lot of information that you can find. I know that you had also great guests speaking about customer experience strategies. What I would like to bring today is it's something more important and more tangible that helps really winning the championship, really achieving this great result. I name that customer service architecture. Others name that blueprint. It's important to have a complete overview of the system, of the business capabilities that you have in place. Instead of having the CIO coming to you and say, oh, we want to implement the new knowledge management, let's do that. No, if you have this overview, you know exactly the flows of your information, of your customer, of your employees. You understand the weaknesses that you have in your contact center, then you can find ways to solve it. You can find the strengths where you need to double down compared to your competitors, and you have this overview, and you don't forget to update a system because it's there. We need to do that. It's quarterly, it's every 6 months, and this will help customer service to win. Let's go back to soccer and use that. A team is normally in a normal Champions League is training the whole week to play the match at the weekend. One match they prepare for 1 week or longer. they discuss about tactics, they prepare themselves mentally, they watch videos of the competitors. They really do their job perfectly to be best prepared when they are in the game, when they need to play the game to win. And this is what I would like. I would like to see in future customer service department ready to win the game, and not always only needing to defend because they started the game only with 7 players instead of having 11 players, or defending and losing because the competitors came with something new and they don't understand why, or because the coach was not able to explain it. This is extremely important. And sorry to giving you a long answer, but I think this is really key. We need to see these customer service departments win, because these are the last department that have direct contact with the customer. They have a big opportunity to win, and we need to make them possible. We need to empower them as a company to win.
Yeah, it's empowering them, and it's giving them the right tools and the right process, and then allowing them to communicate effectively with that customer. And there's so much data inside the contact center that can get pushed into the rest of the organization. And it's just educating everybody else on what's possible so that you are aligning with the business objectives and the ultimate goals for that end user. So appreciate that, Greg. It was a pleasure to learn more about the analogy of customer service and soccer or football for the European friends. What is the best way for my listeners to find you or get a hold of you or watch your podcast?
Thank you very much, Nick, for asking this question. LinkedIn is the best way. I think you are going to share in the show notes my contact details. And if somebody is interested, cxgoalkeeper.com/podcast. There you will find my podcast. I am on all platforms. Thank you very much for asking.
Yeah, you bet. And the last 2 questions that I ask every single guest is, what's a note that you would leave to every single customer service rep? It's going to hit everybody's desk Monday at 8 a.m. What would it say?
Oh, this is a great question. B2B or B2C, no, we are in a human-to-human environment. Never forget that you as an employee, your customer, you are human beings. Therefore, try to solve the customer issue, but be empathetic with them.
I like it. And then if you could leave what book or person has influenced you the most here in the last year, in specifically customer service or customer experience?
This is extremely difficult to mention one book, and I was really struggling to decide. But I want to say the first book that I read that was about relationship management. It was not about customer experience. I will mention also this book, but this was How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think you know the book, Dale Carnegie. This is an outstanding book, and this was the first time that I was really understanding that relationship matters.
It is a great book, and he is a guy to watch or to listen to on online and to pay attention to. He's got a lot of really good books. So appreciate your time, Greg, and best of luck to you.
Thank you very much. It was an outstanding pleasure. Thank you very much, and I hope that your audience enjoyed this discussion.